Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robin Carter. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today I am here to share the birthday card organizer kit by Stampin' Up! I'll be showing you the kit as well as alternates that I have made using this kit and some additional supplies. If you are new to my channel, I would really appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button below. And if you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your support, and I hope you enjoy this video. So first, let me share with you the organizer kit itself. So it comes in this nice big box. And this kit is not in any catalog. It is in the kits collection on the StampinUp.com site for purchase. So let's get to all the goodies inside. Now I have already opened this and, like I said, have some alternates for you. So let me first find the sheet. Okay, so this kit comes with an organizer book and enough supplies to make these 12 envelopes. Yes, 6 of 2 designs. And this kit makes a perfect gift as well for someone. You could either go ahead and make the cards for them or they can make it themselves. These are very easy to put together as is, and let me show you all the components. So you will have 6 of each of these card bases. So one is polka dot on one side, blank on the other, and the other is this beautiful soft succulent pattern. Now, speaking of soft succulent is an in color that will be retiring in April. So my guess is this kit will also retire because they generally retire items that have discontinued colors. So if you like this kit, be sure to grab it up quickly. All right, so those are our card bases. And I'll get to these in a second. So then it has die cut pieces that are already colored to go on your cards. There are 6 of these. Now I have used one already. Some more layering pieces for the cards. These are die cut. There's a little stitching around the sides. And then they've included sentiments for this kit. So these are all stickers. So you don't even have to have adhesive to apply them. And they come in 4 different languages. So whichever language is your primary language is the ones you can use. And then we get to the beautiful envelopes. And so if you are already a subscriber and have seen several of my paper pumpkin videos, you know when I get these envelopes that I usually cut them open. Let me get a sip of water. Yeah, I usually cut them open to make my alternates. So I will be showing you those later. And this is the organizer itself. So I think it's just beautiful. I love the colors. Soft succulent is a favorite of mine. And this kit also, it coordinates with a bundle in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog called Cottage Rose. And so this is the stamp set, and these are the dies. The dies cut out these images. Now these images are shown at 95% on the stamp set itself. So that this may look a little off, but there's a die to cut out the big flower, the leaves, and then this big die right here cuts out this image and these 3 flowers. So there's also some coordinating designer series paper that has an image with all these flowers and leaves printed that cuts out as well. And then there's 4 additional detailed dies. Excuse my tickle in my throat. I've been fighting this today, but I wanted to get this video out to you, so pardon my coughs. All right, so those are those, and I'll be using this to create my alternates. Also, I don't think I pointed out, these 3 flowers are on one stamp, so you don't have to worry about trying to line up those flowers to fit that die. They're already lined up for you. Okay, so the organizer itself is beautiful, and I have seen on Pinterest where some people have decorated this. So that's an option for you if you wanted to do that with ribbon or other items. But what you have is a pocket and a grid of each month. And so you would just take these stickers and put them on the correct month that you wanted. And then here, each page goes to 31. But we know not every month has 31, but they did that anyway. So you would just write beside the day, the birthday or anniversary of your friends or family, or a special date to send out a card. And this provides a card to store, or excuse me, a pocket to store your cards in. On the inside, there is also a flap, as well as the back, that you could store additional cards, such as thank yous or sympathy cards that you want to have on hand for those situations. So that is how you would put this together. So now I'm going to show you my alternates. And by the way, if you purchase this kit and you use this host code, I will send you a PDF through the email of the instructions for how I make all my alternates. As I said, this makes a great gift. You could give it as is, or you could go ahead and make cards for them to send as well. And so think of that when you're looking at all my alternates. Oh, if your wish list is over 150, don't use this host code. If you purchase the kit, you will still get the PDF with all the instructions of how to make this. So the first thing I did was created the card as is, pretty much as is. I use the pretty soft succulent card base. Okay, I did cut this in half and then created a layer for my white card base. And I put it on my own so that I could use the other half. So here is the card pretty much as is. And then with the other half of this card base, I added my own white thick card base to create this card. Now, as I shared, I believe this kit coordinates well with it. So I stamped and colored my own flower and then added some of those nifty detailed dies from this kit. As you can see, it creates a real fine line. I love the detail that adds to the card. So that is my alternate using the other half of the card. All right, and then, oh, and by the way, I did stamp all my envelopes with a flower. So if you decide not to make envelopes, you have these gorgeous decorated on the inside envelopes anyway. All right, and then with the polka dot base, I did a very simple gender neutral card. The only piece I did not use was, let me pull out one of them, was this die cut piece. So as you can see here, how it's made, now granted they did a vertical card, would be to put this here, but I found a beautiful use for this that I'll show you in a minute. So for now, I just made this card. Actually, what I did also, don't know that I will actually make that many cards, but I cut the white polka dot card base in half as well. So again, I just prefer my cards on thicker bases. You could easily just leave this as is and not add a base, but I cut that apart and then cut this in half just by lining this and this up in the track of my paper trimmer and did like this. So again, I just created a real simple gender neutral card with that. And that sentiment is also in the Cottage Rose set. And then I added some sparkle ribbon that I had in my stash. So I hope that shows. Okay, now to the fun part of the envelopes. So as you can see here, what I do is I trim a sliver of the side of each envelope, or at least the ones I'm going to do, and open it up. And I was pleased to see this pattern goes all the way through. So let me show you the alternates I made by using the envelopes. So with that one envelope, I created 4 alternates. Now on these 2 cards, I wasn't even looking at the coordinating colors, and I used crumb cake. The coordinating color is actually Sahara sand, but I think they worked out okay. So let me show you what I used for each of these cards. So for this card, I used the bottom part of the envelope. Just squared everything off, trimmed the sides, and that way I have a layer here. I then colored a flower from the Cottage Rose. And this is a piece of designer series paper that is also coordinates with the Cottage Rose set. So a tip I have when you're cutting your designer series paper, this one has a direction, so pay attention to that first. But like I believe this is a 2-inch strip. So rather than cutting 2 inches all the way down, because it's 12 by 12 paper, I prefer to cut at like 5 1/4, 5 1/2, or however tall I want my designer series paper to be. That way, like if I did 5 1/4 twice, the bottom strip would be like 1 1/2 inches, and that would still be useful on a vertical card since the flowers have a direction. So think of that the next time you're cutting up your pretty paper, and see if that helps you get more use out of it. Okay, so I did add those detailed dies. They're part of the Cottage Rose bundle, and this sentiment also comes from that. Okay, let's go to these 2. These 2 are pretty much the same. They just have different colors of the leaves. So I used the center part for both of these. So it looks like I cut them to about 4 inches, and then I cut that part in half. So that gave me these 2 panels to use. And then I looked through my stash and found some other Sahara sand paper that I had to use that would coordinate. I did color these soft succulent leaves with my blends, and it looks like I used watercolor pencils on these, on the flowers. And this is Old Olive on this side. So just a little few differences. And then this sentiment is an old stamp set that I love, and I just wanted a small sentiment for there, so that's what I chose there. And added pearls for details. And then my last one for this envelope piece. So once I cut this off at 4, I have this remaining piece that I use to go down the side here. Now it does have a slight score mark. I don't know if that shows, maybe it shows better there, but that doesn't bother me. I bumped it right up here when I put a piece of cardstock there. And then I have the painted texture base here, side piece, just to give it some interest. And then I added the dies from the art gallery set. And those dies are called the Floral Gallery dies. I am thankful that now Stampin' Up, they don't have a different name for the stamp set than the dies. They're naming them the same now, so it makes it so much easier. Okay, so that is the 4 cards from this one envelope and additional supplies. Okay, last is my favorite envelope, this pretty soft succulent envelope. And from that envelope, I've created 3 alternates. It's upside down. So here are my alternates for that. So for this card, I did just like I did the Sahara sand, and cut just shy of the score line and cut those pieces off, square that off to make a panel here. And this is where I use that piece that I didn't use from the polka dot card. And now I see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I thought this looked so pretty right there that I decided to use that piece there instead of with my polka dot card. All right, so I did the same thing. I colored my rose. I have a sentiment, and I added one detail in my own bling. And in the back, I did a pretty flowers embossing folder to give it some texture. So that is my first alternate. Then with this alternate, I used pretty much the whole panel. Okay, I left just enough to make this as well. And so I simply just did a layer that I stamped a solid color. No coloring, just kind of to keep it tone on tone. All right, and this is the scallop contour dies that I did, and then I just framed those with a piece of white cardstock. And then the last card, like I said, I used the remainder minus the gummy part. And then those you cannot go all the way because from here to here is less than 5.5. So I just made it, looks like 5 1/4. And again, stamped and colored the flower, added my own sentiment. And this is from the Go-To Greetings. And this is a fabulous stamp set because it has all your basics, the thinking of you, the birthdays, the thank yous, the sympathies. So it's a great addition to your stash, and it comes in many different fonts, one bigger, one smaller than this, and I think this is a mid-size. And again, I added those detailed flowers from the dies. I did one in a color just to see what that looked like, and the detailed leaf here in soft succulent. So that just goes to show how you can stretch this kit if you so wanted to. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. In a few days, I'll probably be sharing, as long as it comes in on time, the Kaleidoscope kit. It's a new kit in the Stampin' Up! Kit collection, and I have it on order, and it should be arriving soon, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you as well. So this was a short video for me today. Thank you for joining, and like I said, be sure to subscribe. If you like this kit, here's the March host code, and thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everyone.